Today's subject of theoretical slaughter is not a cult band from the Romanian underground metal scene, but the cult band from the Romanian underground metal scene, and this is the legendary release from Mercy's Dirge from Suceava, a record entitled Live, Raw and Relentless. So what we are having in here are basically a collection of 11 live studio tracks, and this is kind of a iconic and legendary Romanian metal band because he started the extreme metal in Romania. As you can see, it is a very nice booklet, simple, to the point, and pretty much made like they used to do it in the very first days of the scene here in Romania. Nothing really fancy, but and sticker, I suppose, or something like this. I keep on finding these kind of things in the CDs. I don't know what they are used. This is a credit card or something like that. So as you can see, extreme Romanian metal since 1991. And the CD that we are talking about, and of course the back side of the CD, and nevertheless the legendary 4 musicians that kind of created the cornerstone that made possible the extreme metal in our country. For those who are interested in reading more about this band, I have also conducted an interview with them and wrote kind of a, let's say, quasi-philosophical material in the first volume of my book dedicated to the Romanian underground metal scene, where you can also read an interview with Vlad Nesteriuc from Mercy's Dirge. To properly start with the controversial statements, I will start by saying that this is the crowning achievement of the Transylvanian label Loud Rage Music from Cluj-Napoca, meaning the best release they brought on the market up to this day, although there were very many good bands that had their albums published by Loud Rage Music, but Live Raw and Relentless is so far the best thing that Loud Rage Music released, historical material into the Romanian underground metal scene. Why am I saying this is controversial? Okay, from very many points of view. Basically, as I have discussed into the last material, in the last interview that we had on this channel, the metal from the 80s was about thrash metal and speed metal, and of course we had the famous bands such as Tectonic and many other great bands from the 80s, but these are kind of subjects that are not known to the wider audience, so it's very hard to gather the information from that period. In the 80s we had bands such as Strop, Salt, Acid, Quartz. All of them, Viking, for instance, was a band from the 80s that I think performed 1989 for the Tapte Festival in Buzău. But all of these kind of bands from the 80s, Strop, Salt, Quartz, Acid, they kind of prepared the ground for Tectonic, which was the first metal band in Romania. And I think the first one was Strop in 1982, if I'm not mistaken. All of them revolving around the person of Liviu Hoisan, who later founded Tectonic in 1987, and in the 90s sub semnul cruce, under the sign of the cross, and Comandorul Hoisan, the Commander Hoisan. But still, we are talking about thrash metal and speed metal, a tradition continued by Altare and Neurotica. But if we consider this lineup with Tectonic, Altare and Neurotica, it's right to put it like this, in a thrash metal and in a speed metal logic. And now, of course, the question arises whether thrash and speed metal, although they are extreme metal genres, they are really extreme metal the way we understand extreme metal nowadays, because the definition of today's 2023 extreme metal kind of has to do with black and death metal as influenced by the Western bands. And as I said, 1990-1991 was the year where Mercy's Dirge started playing, and controversial in one more sense, meaning that I keep on hearing many people saying that black metal in Romania was invented in Timișoara with Vican Rede, or even in Galați with Hathor, and when you hear these kind of things, they add a bitter spot to your memory, and they kind of rub you the wrong way. And if people still consider that Vican Rede or Hathor from Galați were the first black metal bands in Romania, my answer to them is let us be fucking serious. Black metal was not invented, or Blackened-Death metal or Blackened-Death metal was not invented in Timișoara, in Bucharest, or in Galați for that matter. It was invented in the northeast of the country, into the city of Suceava. So the very first word that we can use to characterize this early master stroke in the Romanian extreme metal scene is refinement. Refinement in execution, meaning pretentious, delicate, elegant, and distinctive expressions of intensity. So everything in here is played all the way through, and the musicians know how to make themselves different at every turn. And once again, we are talking about live studio tracks from the early 90s, the first such tracks ever released in Romania. And when I'm saying that the musicians know how to make themselves different and at every turn, we kind of need to take every instrument or every sonic segment in part and try to analyze them a little bit. The first thing that could be said about the guitars is that the musicians make themselves different at every turn by means of an abundance of guitar effects that are always very close in the background and ready to intervene exactly at the moment when the music is raging forward. So once again, guitars that are always in the background and always ready to intervene at the exact moment when the music is raging forward. And a second distinctive element on lower live and Relentless is the voice, and here we are talking about a voice that kind of conveys an insane touch, a voice that knows how to use to their full advantage the delay effects, amassing in itself all the forms of misanthropic insanity, and challenging the audience in a penetrating way, in a truly penetrating way. And when the vocals are combined with the guitars together, the vocals and the guitars, they compile a lethal or an unmatchable overdose of intensity in evilness. And the guitars are blazing forward by grace of the voice. So what does it mean that the guitars are, you know, blazing forward by grace of the voice? It means that when a certain riff demands attention, the vocals make that riff insane and seductive, and the riffs are always backed by sweeping guitar leads and by some outrageously flamboyant vocal styles that basically embody in themselves a morbid casting of demonic forces, and that morbid casting of demonic forces, they don't encourage you to lick your wounds, or at no moment they encourage you to lick your wounds, but at every fucking turn they encourage you to celebrate the demonic value of your wounds. This kind of thing is what really sharpens the profile of the band, sharpens the profile of the band and makes it so that the game here is never lost, is lost in no moment is the game lost with this recording. And most importantly, the guitars know how to use those very special, you know, triumphant chords like extreme black metal releases when you feel something demonic elevating inside you. So once again, the guitars of Vlad Nesteryuk, they kind of know how to use the demonic chords, that demonic elevation force. And they use those triumphant chords until a fast rhythm supports the cruel guitar leads and thus create explosive moments inside a sound cloud of their own. A sound cloud filled with necro-mayhemic sounds. And if we are to talk about the drums a little bit, I would say that the drums kind of know how to keep young and quite essential, even for 2023, they know how to keep young and quite essential the old school black metal vibe combined with punk and with thrash influences, that is by means of drums that know how to use great samples from adjacent genres, samples kind of belonging to a diverse amount of subgenres and supporting a diverse amount of subgenres, from doom to other types of epic parts, recitation included, and incantation included, because you hear a lot of incantational moments with the vocalist, and here the drums kind of know how to support the crescendos behind all these kind of things, create the necessary motivational impact because of the special hammering style that is rapid, animalistic, and even ritualistic, that kind of stays up in the mix, but not too up front in the mix. That is not the rapid hammering style does not sideline the guitars. On the contrary, the drums help the guitars increase their furious numbers and ritualistic incantational value. So the drums constantly do not sideline the guitars, but they help those guitars increase their numbers and increase their ritualistic occult value. And also the bass lines kind of play an interesting role in this release, because they bring a lot of outline. Outline in Romanian means contur. Basul aduce foarte mult contur în această muzică. So the bass lines bring a lot of outline to the guitar riffage, that kind of outline that makes the thrash grooves and even that makes the thrash grooves even deeper, and the addiction a deserved addiction. So if the lead guitars draw the sound, the bass kind of ensures the perfect contrast for the defining elements and shadows of the style, which is blackened death metal. Kind of the bass giving the ultimate and extremely visionary and avant la lettre blackened element to the music. The tonalities basically range from a blackened painkiller to a blackened death crush, if we are to bring into discussion Judas Priest and of course Mayhem. And as the bass knows how to work with the substrata of narratives that the guitars carve out, and also the bass knows how to work at the level of each collision of riffs, and the bass works like a deeper undercurrent beneath this album's immediate compelling bestiality, and although the bass operates in a covert manner, like a cover-up agent, its might, or the might of the bass lines, can be felt all across the energy of the music, and ultimately this kind of bass line dictates the carnivorous flashes of the surface level, a surface level where the anger has a life of its own. But if we are to, go a little bit deeper into details with all the instruments and all the sonic segments on this release, I can say that the main element in here is the guitar of Mr. Vlad Nesteryuk. Mr. Vlad Nesteryuk being the mastermind of the Romanian underground and the guy who invented extreme metal in Romania. Of course, Vlad Nesteryuk played in Mercy's Dirge. He was the brain behind Mercy's Dirge, and when the band Mercy's Dirge entered some sort of a hiatus, he went to play with the other great band from Suceava, which is New Age, on the now historical release decadent images of creation in the nihilist age. So New Age from Suceava is the second band in which the guitarist Vlad Nesteriuk brought an outstanding and unique contribution. So yeah, these are the two epitomic metal, extreme metal bands from the city of Suceava. So Mercy's Dirge, and a little bit later on New Age, where again, as I said, the addition of Vlad Nesteriuk to New Age from Suceava on the demo, the decadent images of creation in the nihilist age, created along with the violin player Mihai Bilauca, a unique sound unmatched to this day. So kind of in the city of Suceava, the musicians in their starting with Vlad Nesteriuk and continuing with Mihai Bruja, they kind of set the cornerstone for extreme metal in Romania, both for death and black metal, but also for some sort of an experimental doom, experimental melancholic doom metal with New Age later on. And as I said, the main element, as far as instrumentation is concerned, the main element here is the guitar of Vlad Nesteriuk. And the guitar in here, as performed by Vlad Nesteriuk, is full of vigorous martial metaphors, okay? Full of fuzz-encrusted tones, that seem transferred, adopted, or naturalized from the very bass lines. So again, the guitars of Vlad Nesteriuk bring a lot of martial metaphors and some fuzz-encrusted tonalities that seem transferred, adopted, or naturalized from the bass lines, if we are to talk about a sublime continuity between bass and guitar. And the guitar here kind of keeps the entire concept in the upper sanctum of the black metal temple, as the guitars provide some very precious confessional value of aggression. So this is one of the blueprints of Vlad Nesteriuk, to play the guitar in such a way so as to provide that precious confessional value of aggression. So it's demonic confession all across the release. And Vlad Nesteriuk's guitars remain almighty even to this day, and catchy as fuck, without compromising the fiendish or evil feeling in any way. And this kind of guitars even manage to add some surreal elements, some avant-garde or surreal elements and outbursts. A very important thing to be stressed in this video review is the very interesting relation between guitar leads and guitar riffs. And the release presents a fascinating element of the 90s, that is the array of trashy riffs that are pressed against terrorizing and merciless guitar leads are capable to resurrect the dead. So we are talking about terrorizing and merciless guitar leads that constantly, as I said, terrorizing and merciless guitar leads that kind of constantly give you the impression that they can work perfectly even without guitar riffs. And this kind of guitar leads are capable to showcase the madness behind everything, and above all, they are capable to bring back the dead entities, and this kind of feeling that you can resurrect dead entities by means of guitar leads. It's something so fucking specific to the 90s, which you can still find on this release. And that's why I'm saying that production wise, this has nothing to do with the modern production. This is live studio recording where the guitar leads live up to their fullest fucking potential, and the guitar leads are conveying the impression that they can work just as well without guitar riffs, and that they can resurrect dead demonic entities, as you saw with, I don't know, Obituary and early Mayhem and early Darkthrone and so on and so forth. And this kind of guitar leads, they are not only capable to bring back into existence dead entities, but they are also capable to convey the message that to convey the message that the passing of time is senseless, that death is just a bad joke, and that the spirit of destruction and the instinct to kill is in every one of us. It is a part of us, as the lyrics of the song Foreseeing the Past are saying. So again, a very strong relationship between the guitar leads and the lyrics and the vibe of the vocalist. And basically, when the guitar leads and the guitar riffs engage in epic melodies together, the guitar leads and the guitar riffs, the guitar leads and the guitar riffs, they pump enough drive into the listener so as to make the listener feel in perfect symbiosis with the gods from the dark, with the gods of metal, so as to make the listener feel that he has only one wish: to play black metal. As the listener and the musicians, they both know that they are just a servant of the dark, and they are a lost soul or a fucking demon, and that they will play black metal until they will die, because just playing black metal isn't fake in this world. And this kind of music, when black metal, when it is true to itself, it kind of makes you feel the noise in your veins. It kind of makes you feel the heart beating in your veins, and makes something evil happen in your brains. Something that has to do with the pure images of chaos, and with the feeling that a sea of blood is falling from the skies, again, if we are to quote the lyrics of Devilish Wish. As you can see, very different lyrics back into those days. Another crucial or very important aspect in here is that the guitar of Vlad Nesteriuk kind of knows how to use not, and I'm saying again, not thrash and speed metal influences, but the guitars of Vlad Nesteriuk, they know how to use thrash and speed metal contrasts. So not thrash and speed metal influences, but thrash and speed metal contrasts, which in this way they give the general black and death metal crossover played in here. They give by means of thrash and speed metal contrasts and not influences, they give the general death and black metal crossover played in here. They give it an almost karmic value, one that almost borders on black and roll. So on the review with Black Sheep, we analyzed a little bit the term death and roll, but one could even say that, you know, here we are kind of, we can be talking about black and roll. Again, another element that makes the sound on this release truly unique. Black and roll kind of has this tendency to spread some edgily hedonistic beastie vitality, and to spread this kind of edgily hedonistic beastie vitality in a counterintuitive stylistic escapism. So yeah, again, using thrash and speed metal contrasts, the guitarist assigns some sort of a karmic value to the music, and that kind of music almost borders on black and roll. And by black and roll, in the context of this release, we are talking about the spreading of an edgily hedonistic beastie vitality in counterintuitive stylistic escapisms. Counterintuitive, of course, against expectations, so not the kind of riffage that you would normally expect, but again, we are talking about true stylistic escapisms, and very sharp on the edges hedonistic beastie vitality expressed in counterintuitive stylistic escapisms. And this is how, in this fashion, is how a musician can build an active type into extreme metal. So by the mechanism that I have just described is one of the best recipes to build up an active type or an active typology in extreme metal. And Vlad Nesteriuk kind of clearly shows us that if you want to be a real deal guitarist, first and foremost you need to think like a real deal guitarist, just like a surgeon, you know. The more you think like a surgeon during operations, the more you think like a surgeon during surgery, the more you become a real surgeon. And Vlad Nesteriuk knows very well how to work effectively and with an untouchable fatalistic catchiness at the level of the underlying melodies, and how to use higher notes in retrospect. So another interesting aspect about the guitar working here is that the guitarist Vlad Nesteriuk knows how to work with a high efficiency and with an, as I said, untouchable fatalistic catchiness at the level of the underlying melody, and how to use the very higher notes, the high notes of extreme metal in retrospect. So nothing is lost inside this music. And when you know how to work with the underlying melodies and how to use higher notes in a retrospect, basically you are capable to better accentuate the post-eclipse era that the whole album is constantly talking about. And also another result or another effect of all these things are some formidable intermezzos that are being used in here, intermezzos which kind of bring a very significant contribution to the general celebration of murderous velocity that takes place on this album, an album that forcefully absorbs the air from the other releases or productions around it. Even in 2023 it is capable to forcefully absorb the oxygen from other releases or productions that stand around it on the market. And one more set of remarks about the voice. The voice here is performed in a way in which it kind of inevitably grows on you, and I underline the word inevitably, and it kind of touches on the skin of your fate, to quote Megadeth, and the voice in here is as brutally spaced out as possible. And an element that basically outlines the musical style in here, apart from the guitar, is the way in which the devilish laughters are set against blast beats, crescendos, and in this way the voice gives more power and relevance to each instrument, while the direct arpeggios seem to build further on the energy provided by the voice. And the direct guitar arpeggios not only seem to build further on the energy provided by the voice, but the guitar arpeggios seem to also consolidate an impressive record of confidence on the side of the musicians. And of course the arpeggios in this context means the notes of a chord played in rapid succession, either ascending or descending. So yes, we are kind of talking about an absolutely malicious, bad blood, sick vocals, as if the soul itself is screaming its gloomy and perverse twists. But also the vocals kind of know how to pick up the pieces and even manage to be quite versatile. Okay, in order to conclude this review, we can say that right from the beginning, from the very first tones or tonalities, it becomes evident to the listener that they are in here for a treat, for a real treat. That is, here we are dealing with a towering, eccentric and furious music that is instantly gratifying. It is genre clashing at its best, and with epic and it uses epic and bestial breaks all over the place, and it also generates a disturbing feeling throughout the whole disc. So once again, an iconic, ice-breaking material into the Romanian underground metal scene. Iconic again and ice-breaking, that kind of closes every song in a positive note, or on a positive note. So this kind of a positive note is the positive note of a personal successful exorcism, and the emotional weight kind of remains intact and accurate, and in absolutely no moment is it an album about resignation. On the contrary, it is kind of successful in generating an abhorrent healing aura, and this very aura, both abhorrent and healing, kind of helps or aids to the recording's evolving span and makes the style be an all over the place style. And more naturally said, this kind of influences help the musicians pass easily and flawlessly from one rhythm to the other. And we are going to finish this presentation with the word tentacles, okay, like the octopus has tentacles. The band presents the ungodly skin of black metal. It presents or represents in its music the ungodly skin of black metal in the shape of a fracture inside the being, a fracture which lets out from itself or spreads outside of itself a penetrating light, a penetrating light that kind of resembles the cold that one feels in his bones when he spent a lot of time in the woods, you know, a winter day, and also a penetrating light that behaves like an echo that does not disperse, or like an echo that kind of remains stuck in your bones. An echo that is hard, persistent, and desperate. Yeah, an echo like that resembles the howl, you know, the screaming of wolves, the howl of an abandoned animal that has already begun, because of desperation, to grow specialized tentacles. So again, starting with controversy, ending with controversy. This is the best material released by Dirge Music, one of the best materials released up to this day into the Romanian underground metal scene, testimony of the ancients, if you want to quote a famous death metal release, and also the first iconic and ice-breaking metal act ever performed in Romania. Black metal, once again, was not invented in Timișoara, Bucharest, or other cities in Romania. It was invented into the city of Suceava, which basically had an extremely strong metal scene into the 90s. So maybe it's time for you to reconsider your knowledge if you still consider Vican Rede or Hator from Galați or even Negru Bunget that they invented black metal in Romania. Then you should have a very serious fucking conversation with yourself and reset your national metal data, because you are dead fucking wrong if you think that other people invented extreme metal in Romania than these guys from Mercy's Dirge. And of course, if we compare it to the 80s, it's up to every listener to decide whether thrash and speed metal as performed by Tectonic, Neurotica or Artal was really real extreme metal, or if Blackened-Death metal as inaugurated by Mercy's Dirge is the real birth of extreme metal in Romania. Iconic fucking released 11 live studio tracks, probably one of the first such materials in Romania with live studio tracks. I think there was another band called Odium from Vaslui who also released some sort of a live recording in the studio demo, and last year in 2022 one or Organic Noise Experiment released again this kind of a material, live studio tracks. And of course Marius Luca said during the interview that one is the Organic Noise Experiment, All for One was the first album released with live studio tracks. I'm sorry, but no, the first release with live studio tracks was this one, live Raw and Relentless by Mercy's Dirge. A very select gallery of live studio albums in Romania. Keep supporting the real fucking Romanian extreme metal underground. Thank you so much for watching.
Is the name of God or Satan. Confess evil's name.